Hey, what's up? Jake here, and today it's time for another Universal horror movie. This time, The Mummy. The movie was released December 22nd, 1932, as the mummy Imhotep is looking for his bride. And yeah, it is very similar to Dracula, except not as good. And also, this isn't the wrapped in bandages mummy. That's not till the next one. But at least it does have Boris Karloff in it, so I know I should mostly like it. But anyway, let's watch The Mummy. So the movie begins with a title where they just dug up the mummy from his grave. And this is the only time in the movie that you'll see the mummy in its bandages, compared to the rest where you won't. It's definitely the best look of the mummy in this movie, and yeah, I definitely prefer, it doesn't look bad, the rest of the movie, but this just looks better. As they are studying the mummy for research, as they also find a box with another box inside. As the other box says, whoever opens this box will get cursed. And the thing that they will have to do if they open the box is that they would have to watch Tom Cruise's The Mummy for the rest of eternity if they open it, which is worse than death. As they are, of course, scared to open the box. Who wouldn't be? I wouldn't want to watch that piece of crap. But some of them are skeptical, as this dumbass here decides to read an incantation to waken the mummy. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, man. Say the words that you cursed and killed. Oh, you're brilliant. Well, at least he did say it when everyone else was away, since then they shouldn't be affected. Or at least I hope not. But you will be horribly murdered. But no, the mummy does not kill the man. The man just laughs a lot. Oh wow, it's really not great when a monster doesn't make you scared, just makes you laugh to death. But I don't know, maybe the mummy's abilities just make you laugh to death.
Bored beyond human endurance, messing around in this sand and these rocks.
He was laughing when your father found it. He died laughing.
Oh wow, I guess that is its ability. Well, still not good when a monster can make you laugh to death. Okay, that's an exception, but that's kind of his thing. As Imhotep comes in looking pretty creepy as he says a fake name, and he gives them something to help them find another tomb. And I would normally say that's a really nice thing to do, but just look at the guy. He looks like he's gonna double-cross you. That makeup on Karloff is badass, though, but I wouldn't trust that guy. As Imhotep brings them to the site, as they all start digging for the tomb, as they do eventually find the tomb. Oh, I wanted to mention this earlier, but I didn't have the time. That's David Manners, Harker from Dracula. Which, yeah, he's good to be in here, but he's pretty much just Jonathan Harker. As they get their find into the museums, Van Helsing himself talks to Helen. And yes, I will be calling him Van Helsing during this review, since it's the same actor, and he's playing basically the same character. Hell, just same thing with Harker. I'm gonna be calling him that too, since, again, basically the same character. As Harker really likes Helen, as Imhotep introduces himself to the museum owner as they thank him, even though he does seem strange. Mainly because that makeup done by Jack Pierce, same guy did it in Frankenstein, and yeah, he looks pretty badass. And you'd think he's even more strange if you saw him in his bandages. But sadly, that's not in this movie, even though it'd probably be better if it was, and it'd look better. As Imhotep says something that gets Ellen's attention as she eventually passes out, and Harker takes her home, and in her sleep, she keeps saying Imhotep. I just wonder what kind of dream it is. Probably a wet dream. As she eventually wakes up as she's confused and not going to talk about it. Well, movie, you gotta say something to keep us entertained. As these two make small talk, as they talk about him finding the princesses, he says that he fell in love with the body. Yes, I have a fetish of people wrapped in bandages.
Now I know what it is about you. There was something about her head.
That's not exactly what I would say. I mean, it's not exactly a compliment. It sounds like you're calling her a degrading mummy. And I guess the mummy's power is killing with this Loxus. It's how the guy died. Is back with these two, Harker hits on her again. Yeah, I know Universal horror movies normally have the guy or girl, in this case a guy, who's the love interest, but here, it's going too fast, even for Universal horror. As we're getting back to the important things, with Imhotep as he lights up his eyes to this guy and makes him kneel in front of him. No, it isn't that. He's just kissing his ring. I wouldn't want to see him, do that. Ugh. As he actually wants his blowjob from the girl, as he's in the room with her as she's mesmerized by the man. They are weirded out by him. Which makes sense. I mean, he doesn't look pretty creepy. Plus, for most of the conversation, he's staring at Helen, which isn't exactly subtle. As she wants to stay by the side of the man, she feels more alive than ever as they question the man, showing Imhotep a photo of himself. That reminds me of another scene. The only difference is this is the mummy and there's no mirror smacking. As Imhotep wants the damn scroll, as he looks at them evilly. As Imhotep is pissed, killing one of the men, but the scroll was destroyed in times. They have a medallion that might help, and of course, Harker doesn't believe him, but he goes along with it and he is going to help, so he can get with Helen. Yep, that's the main reason why he wants to save her. He wants to get laid. Who doesn't save a girl just so they can get laid? As they go to see Helen, as Helsing gives Harker that medallion to help him, but he definitely isn't protected from those evil eyes. Oh god, I'm having Dracula flashbacks. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, this movie was directed by the same guy who did the cinematography in Dracula, so that's why it's so similar. But I will say that I do think it was better in Dracula when they had the light in his eyes. I think it worked a little bit better, just a little bit. But these two are already a little too late, as Helen goes to see Imhotep at his very Egyptian home, as he starts getting close, telling her that she won't remember anything. Oh good, it's just a flashback. I thought he was gonna do something far worse. As we see in the past, Imhotep's bride died, as he turns to dark magic to bring her back, but he was caught and was mummified while he was still alive. Yeah, like a lot of the other Universal horror movie monsters, the mummy is sympathetic since, he just wanted to have his wife back. And he tried to, but yeah, failed and was buried alive. But now he can at least try to get her back. As he tells Helen that she is a reincarnation of his bride and he wants her. And Harker must die. Yeah. Why are you telling her this if you're just gonna wipe her mind right after? She isn't gonna remember it, so it's unnecessary. Whatever, I guess it was just for the audiences. She goes back to her house to see Harker, as she doesn't really remember anything well except for the cat, as she tells him not to let her out, whatever way he can. Okay, guessing by how the mummy wants Harker dead, and that he wants to get Harker out of her heart, then maybe if you two fuck, then maybe you might get more of the mummy out of her heart. Well, even if you do try that, the mummy will probably keep trying anyway. But this way, at least Harker gets laid. As she is hysterious, as she wants the mummy dick, as the men talk about how to help her. But unlike a vampire, she's not able to compel anybody to let her out. So, she'll need another way to get out. Let's see what the mummy does. He tries to kill Harker. Well, that was Harker's own fault, to be honest. I mean, he took off the medallion that was saving his life. it was pretty damn stupid and completely his own fault. Harker, if you die, that's your own fault.
As with this, he's able to get her out of there as they go to the museum, her being in an Egyptian outfit, as she looks at her past self's grave, as Imhotep wants to kill her since they belong dead and together, but she wants to live. But these two are there to stop him.
Yeah, I knew Harker was gonna live. But, he probably should be in a hospital since he just had cardiac arrest. His body should probably be a little fucked up.
But whatever, he needs to be there to save her life before she's killed. But really, they barely even need to be there since she prays and this thing kills him.
That was anticlimactic. I mean, really, she prayed him to death!
And now the mummy is dead, as now we have a happy ending.
And no, Boris Karloff won't be playing the mummy again, but at least in later sequels you get the bandage mummy. But anyway, that was the mummy, and it's okay.
There isn't any big problems with the movie, but compared to other Universal monster movies, I found myself kind of bored. I mean, I did still enjoy it. I did enjoy the backstory of the movie, but Dracula is better, and the movie it isn't Dracula. I mean, it's not as good. Dracula was a great movie. I really enjoyed Dracula, but this is just kind of a knockoff by Universal. It's basically the same story except with the mummy. I do still enjoy it. I think the camera work is actually better in this movie. It was the same person who directed this movie, did camera work for Dracula, but I think he did better with the camera work in this movie. And Karloff is good, but he isn't as good as Lugosi. Lugosi is great, and Karloff just is not as good as Lugosi. Even though Karloff is still great. He's really good, but I would have preferred a wrapped up mummy. That's the better mummy to me. I do think this movie is good, but it's not my favorite mummy movie for sure. Even though I do love it, I still think it's enjoyable, but compared to Dracula, it's not as good, and compared to other Universal movies, it's not as good. And I have to give The Mummy 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I know 3 is kinda low, but really, sometimes I can be dick with my rating. Sometimes I can be generous. Here, I'm being a slight dick to the movie. Partly because I'm pissed off while recording this, and because the movie's just okay. But anyway, that was The Mummy. I'll see y'all later.